Hello YouTube, this is Shirley426, and today we have the review of the 30-minute mission Spinachio Ninja type. Now, about a few weeks ago, I reviewed the Spinachio Sengoku type, and I really love that kit because, first of all, this new third faction, I didn't really have too much, expectation on this, but basically after building this, I really loved the kit because it was a much more taller faction, and then the articulation, joints, and overall design, I really liked it. So yeah. After the Sengoku type released, I was really looking forward for the Ninja type. Now, for those who don't know, the 30-minute mission kits, they do have a story here, and around until last month or 2 months ago, there was only two factions, which was the Federation and the Alien Forces. But now there's a new third faction here, which is based on like samurai, like ninja, samurais, assassins, and such. So yeah. Alright, so let's go on to the review. So first of all, I'm going to mention that I'm not going to be reviewing or showing articulation regarding the base unit, the Spinachio, because I did the same thing. I did show you guys the articulation and review on the base unit on my previous review for the Sengoku type, so I won't be doing that because this is the exact same part and build, because it's the same build but just in different colors. So the original one was the white and red. This was the opposite color, which is blue and black. So yeah, go figure. And as for leftover part, we only get 2 ball joints in polycap, so nothing too special here. And before I apply the armor, let's just go over what you get here, and I'm going to bring out the Sengoku type just to get some reference to show you guys whether some armor parts are the same or not. But before that, let's go over some stuff that we can get rid of. So, number one, let's get rid of the common parts. So, number one, which variant you buy for the third faction, you will be getting the rifle and the joint that you can store the rifle into the waist section here. So, you're pretty much guaranteed to get this because I bought 2 of these and these were both included in there. So, of course, the only difference would be color. So, I think this is a guaranteed weapon for the faction. And then here are some parts. So we get some hands, we get some fully open hands for posing for left and right, and then we get a angled joint wrist for the rifle or other weapons. And here we have some extra joints. So for those who haven't watched the Sengoku review, so from the base form, if you want to apply the armors like this, you actually have to change the joints on the arms. So these are actually much more longer joints, which actually gives you clearance to actually clip on the armor like this, basically. The peg that I'm currently using on the Spinachio unit on the base form is basically there's no neck here. So it's a very short part, so there's no clearance or enough space for the armors to clip on. So if you want to apply the armor, you have to replace it with these. Now I know this might be bothersome to some people, but for me, I got used to it. Alright, so now before we go to the weapons, let's look at the shoulder armors first. So number one, these armors are actually different from the original one. So this one that goes onto the left shoulder is much more shorter compared to the original one, and the other one that goes onto the right one is also even shorter, much more shorter than this one, and also different design. So that's a different armor part. And then we get some armors for the legs. So I do say legs. Now the Sengoku type had armor for the sides. This one actually goes onto the lower legs like this. So those actually square areas actually had some purpose. So that's a pretty interesting way of using it. Now looking at the chest part, this is actually the back one, and this is the front chest. So looking at that, the front chest is also a different design. That's pretty good. And then if you look at the back section as well, it's also a different design and has 2 holes rather than 1. So that's actually a pretty good bonus. And just good to know that it's really good to know that these are not the same parts, just not the same parts in different colors, because so it's really better to have different parts rather than having the same parts in different colors, because it would be boring to have the same exact armor parts in different colors. Of course, for those who like to customize or make your own color scheme, that's a different story. Now, the only parts that are technically the same are the front skirt and the back skirt. These are still the same designs. So yeah. And here is the mask. Now, the only issue I had, or a small gripe I had, was the Sengoku type. As much as I loved it, is that once you actually apply the mask, you really can't see the visor on the inside, the green visor. I really like that color. Oops, and I accidentally popped it off. But yeah, I personally like the design the base head, and I really like that extra shine that goes on the visor. But once you apply the mask, it was really hard to see that color scheme going on. But this one, on the other hand, the hole is much more bigger, so, and the visor on the inside is orangish for this color scheme going on, so they do a better job on that, so pretty good. And that's pretty much it for the armor comparison for now. I'll be doing another comparison once I have the armors on. And here is the weapon. So these are, you know, short blade type weapons that usually Ninja uses. You can give them to each arm, and then you can actually combine them to make it even to a larger, you know, throwing weapon, or a double-edged weapon, or double-bladed weapon. Sorry about that. Although one thing that you should know, that there is no left or right difference on this one. These are exactly, two of them are the same parts as well. So it's not like it's not like one has the peg here and the other one has the other way around. So that's not the way how it is. So these are the exact two same pieces, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so we've seen the components, so I'll be right back with the armor applied onto the Spinachio. Okay, I'm back. So I applied the armor, and then here's next to the Sengoku type. So you can definitely tell what concept they're going with, and I absolutely love it. So as you can see, the balance on the kits are very good despite having those small feet. Now, just to give you guys a quick comparison between the two. So it's funny that how these two actually have the same amount of armor applied to their body. So same armor, not exactly the same armor, but they have the armor parts on like similar areas. Except for maybe the difference would be the Sengoku type has armors on his sides, and then he has on more of the lower legs. But you can see around the same armor amount, but you can see like the ninja type has much more less armor on, because I assume that this guy is based on more speed, hit and run tactics. So obviously he needs less weight going on there. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for a quick comparison. Now let's talk about some other stuff. So let's look at the articulation here. So I'm not going to go full articulation. Is that the good thing is that despite these kits, the good parts of these kits is that they keep the original articulation from the base unit. So you can see, even though with all these armors applied on, there's no hindrance on the the articulation. You still get a nice bend going on there. You can still go. Oh, oops, sorry about that. The arms can go to the side pretty well, and 360 twist is still possible going on there. The legs can still go forward and backward pretty well. Nice bend going on there. Backwards also very well. So yeah, nothing changes. So that's a really good part. Now I would like to talk about weapons. So these weapons are supposed to be like held like these, as far as I know. But the manual does mention that you are able to hold it like in the way how typical swords would be held. Now the reason why I like this weapon is that even in Gunpla, when we tend to get a blade type weapon or sword type weapon, we will always hold it like this, and it's usually meant to be held like this. And when you try to hold it the other way around, it would always be loose or wobbly. But in this case, that is not the case. This thing has a firm grip on this weapon, and I am very happy with that. So which is why you can go with all sorts of poses, and yeah, go crazy with it. One thing about the feet, I'm not sure I mentioned this on the Sengoku type, is that now the black and blue pieces are separate pieces, obviously, but because of the joint here, sometimes when you're trying to balance the kit and you press down on the feet, the ball joint inside here can actually push down the blue piece, hence the parts can actually separate or slightly pop off like this. So just be careful regarding that aspect. And for weapon storage, other than the only one I actually did not apply was the weapon storage meant for the rifle, because we've already seen that on the Sengoku type. So the weapon storage, it really depends, because the only problem with weapon storage is that these two blades are exactly identical. Keep in mind, these two blades are exactly identical. So, which is why if you're trying to store it in the back, you can't go left here, right here, because obviously the pegs are on the same because these two parts being the same parts, the peg directions are exactly the same. So which is why it may look a little bit awkward, or if you don't mind, you can go like that as well. So you really have to choose at this point. So you can do it like this, or like this, just to give it a more natural look going on here, or you can just store them together like this into the shuriken mode, and then store it together. But it really depends on your taste. So I'm not saying that there's a specific way. You just need to choose or just find your preferred way as well. Alright, so yeah, as I mentioned, definitely loving the looks on this, and I'm pretty sure at this point you guys are wondering how they would look on with other armor. So let's see how like the black and blue goes with the Sengoku armor, and then the red white goes with the white ninja type armor. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I swapped each other's armors, and at first, before actually doing this, I thought the color scheme would look very boring, but actually it's the other way around. This looks much more amazing. The black and blue with the Sengoku armor has a much more evil samurai vibe going on. He has a much more powerful presence, if you ask me, in this color scheme, so definitely unexpected. And even for so on the red and white Spinachio with the ninja armor, this looks much better. Actually, it looks like this is supposed to be his armor rather than his. So yeah, I'm actually really liking the overall white and red color scheme going on here, and the balance on the color is also pretty good, because the white parts of the Spinachio and then the white armors from the ninja armor actually looks very good. So yeah. If you want to do this, you can totally buy two of them and swap each other's armor if you want to do so. Now, keep in mind, the whole point of 30-minute missions of the lineup is so that people can customize freely. So if you're not too happy with the base set, you can always buy more or just make your own combination as well. So keep that in mind. Anyway, this is pretty much the review for the 30-minute mission Spinachio Ninja type. Pretty much, in general, it's the same base kit from the Sengoku type, but with a different set of armors. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, that's what you should be expecting from future releases as well. Anyway, that's pretty much it. So, if you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.